maximum pain must endure. Brush my heart. Brush my heart. Brush my heart. Endure. Endure. Brush my heart. Brush my heart. Brush my heart. Did they rock? Did they rock? I must.
I haven't stopped listening to it. I've been listening to this song on loop for a fucking like a month now. I don't know what's wrong with me. It is literally Yoda, Lego Yoda, crushing his penis to I guess like a hardstyle remix, and I've been listening to it for ungodly. There are legitimate songs produced by actual human beings that I don't listen to as much as Yoda Cock and Ball Torture ASMR Hardstyle Remix 2019. But it's a very suitable song, more so this week than last week, because oh boy, there have been a lot of people into some cock and ball torture this week. I'm gonna start. I'll save that though. I'll save the two fuck ups and their monumental. Actually, three fuck ups, but only two of them have websites, so they can only be included in that. I wanna do a throwback. Do you guys remember Greta Thunberg, the person who got me a strike on this fucking channel because apparently I cyberbullied them too hard by saying she probably fucks the family dog? Well, she's now the Time Person of Year, so I guess joke on me, right? My grammar is falling apart like I'm an alcoholic and I have holes in my brain. She lost the popular vote. Apparently, according to the Time Choice Award for Person of the Year reader poll, the Hong Kong protesters won. But Time knows better. It knows that climate change is an urgent, crucial, dangerous situation for all of mankind, and we must act fast. And only Swedish 16-year-olds can bring us to the goalpost. Even though, this is following like a meltdown she had like a week ago where she was saying that nothing changed. She did her spiel. She got in front of the UN. She said all sorts of shit, right? Did the "How dare you" speech, and nobody cares still to cement this fact. There was a big spike September 22nd, and then all the way down to the bottom. There was a little bit more international interest for her activism, I guess. Let's see, December 1st, December 7th, kind of picked up again. But in the U.S., which I guess would be the primary target, they don't really pollute too much in Europe. I can't imagine how much more green someplace like Sweden can get. How much more can you recycle? How much more can you really shift over to green technology in Sweden to off-put major polluters like the United States and China? And the United States has been doing better because it's a consumer advocacy thing. People want green technology, so they're buying more of it, and it incentivizes companies to be better. So, I don't know. She's not really popular in China, I don't imagine. I don't imagine the Chinese care too much. The international... neither does Japan. This guy, Gatos Yoji, apparently a designer for something called Cop Catch or something, said, "I hate that kid. If I was the ruler of the world, I would steal everything from her, knock her into the depths of some despair, and ridicule her. On top of that, I'd feed her a delicious piping hot steak and watch her shed bitter tears. I'd love to see that." December 7th. He's actually deleted this tweet since and put out like an apology tweet saying that was horrible of him and he shouldn't bully minors like this. So I guess there is some justice in the world where such terrible cyberbullying like this cannot be unchecked, not only on YouTube when Josh does it, but also when the Japanese do it. It has to be put in check. Sweden isn't green, it's brown. Oh, that's a hot take. You can't say that too loud. Her face annoys you? That's true. It does annoy me. Like the Chinese protesters were way more popular than her for the readers pick. But as they explain, Time editors decide who is selected as the person of the year. An individual or group who, for better or worse, had the most influence on the world. I guess they have to say for better or worse, because Hitler did win the Person of the Year, or sorry, the Man of the Year in 1938. They had to change it at some point to be Person of the Year after a woman won. But I guess that's a good like retroactive apology. Like, no, we're not saying that he's the best Man of the Year. We're just saying that he's a Man of the Year, for better or for worse. It's a relative moralism kind of thing. Activists took second place in the poll. More than 4.5 climate strikers. I don't know. It's not for me. It doesn't. I don't know. Protests in general don't really seem to affect me. You know, protests were the hot thing of like the 60s and stuff, right? Where we had the people protesting the Vietnam War. You had people in the 50s protesting for civil rights. You had people protesting for women's suffrage in the 20s and 10s, right? Isn't that when that's right around then? And now it's like protests are very corralled kind of things. People protesting in the West especially. It's just sort of accommodated and brushed under the rug. Nobody's really affected by a protest. And if people are affected by a protest, it's a bad thing because they're inconvenienced. They don't want to have to deal with your ass protesting, blocking traffic, and annoying them. So I would say that the protest is no longer a sufficient way of advocating for something. If you really want people to support your cause, you should make your cause fun and make them laugh. People support things that make them laugh. That's why the alt-right is so successful in the West, because everything else is so awful and terrible. No one wants to be pouty Greta. They want to have fun on 4chan. So Greta should find a sense of humor, but because she has autism and fetal alcohol syndrome, that's not likely. Though, on the up and up, Doge was voted Meme of the Year. Meme of the Decade, I'm sorry. You can't just give him a single year. I think it's a she, actually. He's won Meme of the Decade, which is true. It's actually quite sad because I looked up the actual dog. They have a Instagram page, apparently. And it's called Cabo Sue, I guess is the dog's name. And that's the mama, is the woman who runs it. They're very old looking in this picture, and it makes me quite sad because Cabuso is 14, I want to say. And it reminds me of a poem. That is not dead, which can eternal lie, and with strange aeons, even death may die. Because when you have great memes for the dog, it can't really die, right? When you have great memes like this one, oh hey Kathy, putting peanut butter on your pussy again. So I guess another guy couldn't handle your strength and independence. Fine, let's get this over with. I have seen this fucking dog posted in my Discord a dozen times in the last week, and this is how, if Kabusa were to no longer be with us this week, this would be my final memory of I guess people would keep memeing it for a decade, so I don't know. This is very sad though. Please stop making these edits of my fucking dog because it's making me sad. Okay. Nobody cares though. Everyone wants to hear about this guy. This fucker. Look at this fucker. Look at his fat fucking face. I can make fun of this guy. This guy's on the right. Here's my pitch to everyone. I thought about this. I thought about this last week. I think I even teased it a little bit. Teased the idea of it. That I can't stream on Christmas Day. Christmas Day falls on a Wednesday. So there's no fucking way that I am going to stream on Christmas Day. But I am strongly considering editing together a pre-recorded stream or something more produced than that about Torba and premiering it on Christmas Day. Not committing to that, but it's something I've thought of. I'm aware that Ralph is he messaged me asking for like a lead on information for Torba this morning, and I told him to check out the Fediverse because I know the Fediverse really fucking hates Torba, and I'll explain why. But I might do it myself. I've been thinking about it before he messaged me, so it's not really stealing his idea. And I really do want to put something out on Christmas Day, just because it's a Wednesday, and I don't want to miss a Wednesday. But I'm going to cover some of the main things that have been happening this week, because Torba, as the CEO of Gab, has been having an apocalyptic meltdown, and it's leaving me questioning some legal aspects of his corporate management, which I'll get into. But let me just give you a gist of what he's been bitching about on Twitter. Let me send it to the back, actually. Here are some tweets. Keep in mind, these are cherry-picked tweets, and I say cherry-picked because he tweets 500 times a day on Twitter, not on Gab. His actual Gab account last had a tweet like a week ago. So, how long before watch the porn, bigot? I give it a month. Broke, there's always a tweet referencing how there's a tweet for everything that he says that's contradicting himself. Woke, there's always a Bible verse. Very, very coy. He wants everyone to know that he's a Christian again. Gab, the enlightened community on Gab has shown him the path to God. I guess him and Boogie this Christmas season. It really is a holiday season for Christ. We're putting the Christ back in Christmas this year because we got Andrew Torba and Boogie having a proper Christ mass. But I thought obscenity and pornography were free speech. And then there's Wojak killing himself. Very pointed statement there. And you don't have a natural right to post pornography on the internet in front of hundreds of millions of kids. Sorry. Which I guess he's also going to extend eventually to, you don't have a natural right to practice your religion in front of hundreds of millions of kids. You don't have a natural right to be a libtard in front of hundreds of millions of kids. I remember in the 90s, the video game freak out, the Mortal Kombat freak out, and the Grand Theft Auto freak out. You are incentivized to kill hookers in Grand Theft Auto. Oh no. It really sounds. What was that guy? Jack Thompson. Is Andrew Torba the Jack Thompson of internet meme websites? It's such a strange turn. And whenever I see him do something erratic like this, I always wonder: is he like a spastic who just sees poll memes and falls for them one after the other? Does he think that makes him money to follow those memes, or does he have some sort of higher purpose wisdom about him that is so above me I can't even figure it out? Because there was this one, he had a little bit of a spat with a couple of people on Twitter the other day and just really slammed out this absolute winner in reply to Ethan Ralph saying, if Gab is doing so well, why are you on Twitter acting like a spurg every day if Gab is thriving so much? And he replies, getting you and thousands of others to market and talk about our brand for free. Oh, and also live stream to your squints 700 viewers. Oh. He's that's a very that's an interesting gambit to be such a smug piece of shit like this. But as I say in that tweet, this is the coping strategy of children and lolcows. Haters make me famous, cast me outside. How about that? But from a grown man representing a business that's collected $3 million of people's money. And that's what gets me. Like, he would just be like a sad freak. Like, whatever. You want to build your own sandbox, go for it. But he is a businessman who has a publicly traded company. Like, I don't know if it's on the stock market, but he's crowdfunded it. And I'll explain that in a second. But, like, Gab isn't just his plaything. Like, the Kiwi farm is all mine. It's all mine. I can do whatever I want with it. And people are pressing F. I thought that the stream died. It's just my internet connection, which will hopefully be fixed by next week. But like, he has obligations to uphold. That isn't just, oh, I'm a Christian now, so my website is a Christian fundamentalist website. You can't just do that. And I saved this one towards the end for some reason because it really is, like, people know he runs Gab, but you see his handle is gabtrends.com, and that's one of the many different things that he's made. And he, like this again, he tweets 500 times a day, so there's probably more stuff that he's not mentioning that's not running anymore. He has made not just Gab, attempted to launch. I'm not going to use the word made because he's not made anything that he uses. He's made Gab, or launched Gab. He launched Gab Live, which was like Periscope or YouTube live streaming. That's shut down. There is the Dissenter extension, which was admittedly a pretty good idea, but nobody uses it anymore that I know of. There is the Dissenter browser, which is just a fork of Brave. And from what actually, I'll get into that in a second. But he's got a hot update for Dissenter. It's not just Brave, but colored green anymore, guys. He's adding a new feature to block porn. So if you want to use the Dissenter browser to have an objectively inferior experience browsing the internet because you have this nannyware built into it, go ahead and download that. There's the Gab ICO, which is a Ethereum token. He says that he's built a hosting solution, which I don't know about because he got $3 million and then took years to buy his own IP space. He was kicked around between various hosts. He thought he could host his fucking neo-Nazi Twitter on Microsoft Azure and Amazon, AWS. That didn't work out. And only after he got booted around like a football did he manage to buy his own internet resources, which you think would be priority number one with $3 million. But if there is a hosting solution, he sure isn't offering that to anyone else. It's just for him. And it probably isn't as much a solution as he makes it sound. App Store, I don't even know about, and I follow him pretty closely. So if there's some app store, some Gab app store, it's literally not even penetrated me. And I desperately demand to be penetrated by all of the new hot Gab merchandise. E-commerce system, never fucking heard of that. I think he sells t-shirts or something. Is that like a thing that, like, again, can anyone else use this shit that he's pumping out? Or is it literally just like a WordPress blog with a WooCommerce extension that anyone can set up for in 30 seconds? An email service. Go to mailinabox.com. You can make your own email server in 30 seconds if you know basic Linux. Open source social network, that is not something he can take credit for. A news aggregator, which is just a WordPress blog, and a bunch more. So he makes it sound like he's like a Google, like he has all these different products that people know about, like YouTube and Google, the search engine and the image search and the news system and the Google Scholar system and Gmail and Google Music, Hangouts, all this other shit, the voice over IP service. But does anyone listening to this use anything by Gab? Can anyone say honestly that they use anything by Gab? Because I can't name anything that I use from them. And like the Kiwi Forums has this shit. We have our own Pleroma instance. We have an email service you can use. We have a hosting solution that people can actually buy. And that's just me. That's just me with no $3 million setting shit up, because it's easy to find open source software or premium software you can buy a license for and set it up on your own. So this isn't an accomplishment like he makes it out to be. I mentioned the Brave thing because he got into a fight with Brendan Eich over the basic attention token. The basic attention token is an ICO on the Ethereum chain, exactly like the Gab ICO, but it has certain rules to it. And the reason why it has certain rules to it is because Brendan Eich is not a retard. Brendan Eich is the guy behind Mozilla. He founded Mozilla. He was the co-developer of JavaScript, which now powers basically everything on the internet. And he knew the legal requirements of something like a monetary replacement thing like that. You have to be very careful when you deal with money, especially in the United States, because we have very extensive anti-money laundering laws, not the least of which is the Patriot Act. And there's a huge delay. I'm sorry, guys. I should have reduced that before I started streaming. But Brendan Eich does the things he does that makes the basic attention token slightly less convenient, because it makes it accessible to normal people and it complies with the law. Two very important things when you're trying to make a product, right? Torba didn't know that, didn't understand that, or didn't want to understand that. And when he forked the Brave browser into the Dissenter browser, all he did was fork it and then paint it green and then rip out the basic attention token wallet and replace it with I think like a Bitcoin or a Bitcoin Cash wallet, which doesn't make any sense. If you know how to use a Bitcoin or a Bitcoin Cash, you already know how to use the wallet. You don't need one tied into your browser. It doesn't do anything. There's no purpose to it. But somehow, in his mind, forking that browser, removing a feature, replacing it with an objectively useless feature, and then positing it as his own product is good enough. And it's really not, and especially not with browsers, because you have to keep browsers up to date. There exists in the Debian repository something called WaterFox. WaterFox is exactly like Firefox, but the brand for Firefox is very tightly controlled by the Mozilla Foundation. The source code for Firefox is open enough to be okay for the Debian repository, but the restrictions on their brand is not. So all they've done in Debian is take Firefox, rebrand it as WaterFox, and then put it in the repository, and then everyone's happy. But even the act of forking it, changing the colors, literally the colors in the name, and then putting it back up on a repository, WaterFox is consistently out of date compared to Firefox, because it is a labor to keep that kind of thing up to date, and a browser is really something you don't want out of date ever because of viruses and other security compromises. So just by using Dissenter, you are objectively having a worse browsing experience, and you're putting yourself at risk. So a sensible person would not ever do that, would never tell people, use this thing I made that is just an objectively inferior version of an existing product. But to Andrew Torba, it makes sense. Gab Live, that was something I was actually excited for, but he shit canned that. You know why? Gab Live costs money. When you have to pay bandwidth for people live streaming on your service, that's no good. And it's not like Gab actually makes money. He has all these different systems and all these solutions and all these aggregators, but somehow none of them make any money. And I can prove this, and I will. His only recent, this is it. You can shop at Dissenter.com. You can buy, look, what an excellent $60 shirt. What a solution. I feel like my problems are being solved just looking at this shirt. I wonder if this is a Bootstrap. Oh, it's not. It's not WordPress. I'm shocked. Just a Bootstrap site though. That's all. I mean, it doesn't take too long. But he spent people's money building this store to sell $60 fucking t-shirts, which I'm sure is doing great. His only post since, people pointed out that he's not using this account to tweet anything, so he tweeted out a shill link, and then tweeted out this image, which you can really see that $3 million production budget showing through with this impact shit. Gab is unapologetically anti-porn. Children will not be exploited. Women will not be exploited. We will fight, and we will win. The we will fight, we will win shit is very reminiscent of QAnon, which is also important to understand Andrew Torba's strategy. I have my favorite, I'm pretty sure, I might get banned for this, whatever. This is my favorite reply to that tweet, by the way. There's no porn in this, so I'm assuming that it's safe. It says, Furry Vorlover 70 at gab.com to Gab. Go ahead. Keep screaming shut the fuck up at me. It only makes me make more accounts and post more vor porn. So really, even on his platform, he is unable to stop someone, even Furry Vorlover 70 is more powerful than Gab at stopping the relentless wave of degeneracy that is the internet. And you might notice I'm looking at these tweets on something branded with Kiwi Farms. Isn't that strange that I'm on Gab through kiwifarms.cc? That is because we're on a Pleroma instance, and that's fun. See, when Gab was originally being marketed and produced, Andrew Torba was forking a existing PHP project on GitHub and rebranding it as Gab and developing it as Gab. Over the next 2 years that he had Gab and was developing it from this fork project, every feature, every change he added to the software made it worse. The user experience by the end of this development cycle was just appalling. He would you would click something and you would see 4 or 5 little widget spinners all over the screen, just endlessly fucking spinning, because everything was an Ajax call to an Ajax call to an Ajax call, and it was just monstrously fucking bad. It was terrible. But on the other side of the political spectrum, you had the communist trannies. And the communist trannies were sick of Twitter too, but not for the reasons that Andrew Torba was. The communist trannies were upset that Twitter was basically just a Nazi echo chamber, and everyone on Twitter was a Nazi. So they had to do something right fast to secure themselves from these terrible, terrible people who controlled Twitter. And what they made was something called Mastodon. And you can go to mastodon.social and see their project. And it is quite impressive. It's a decentralized Twitter, which is great. Everything should be decentralized. Almost everything. When you think of decentralization, think of torrenting, and think of how the core of torrenting is something that the movie industry, the MPAA, claims cost them billions of dollars a year, probably trillions of dollars a year, by their words. So, and they've not been able to stop it, even after 20 years of trying to legislate the internet, add the DMCA and all this other shit. The MPAA and other copyright holders haven't been able to stop torrenting because it is peer-to-peer. Now you take that kind of concept and you apply it to Twitter, and you have something that's really good, and they've done a good job. So what did the brilliant mind of Andrew Torba do when he thought of decentralization? Of course, he told the world, I, Andrew Torba, have always been a proponent of peer-to-peer, and thus he used his $3 million to fork Mastodon, paint it green, call it Gab, and then, in an act of utter contempt for everyone that is not him, Andrew Torba took boomer Twitter and opened the sluice gate into the Fediverse and dumped all that fucking garbage directly into other upstream nodes while receiving no third-party content. There was a period of months where nobody could tweet into Gab from the Fediverse, but every tweet in Gab would get dumped into all the other nodes. So if you open the whole no network during the peak of Gab, you would see like your aunt, your angry conservative's aunt, ugly, stupid fucking Facebook posts just all over the place. If you go to it now, it's an interesting mix of Japanese and Korean people just talking, because apparently it's really popular in Japan and Korea already. Anime porn, lolicon specifically, and conservative boomer posting. Thanks to Gab entering this network. Eventually, he did accept upstream communication. So, like I've tested it, I can @moon@gab.com and get my Pluroma post from kiwifarms.cc. But it took him a while, and he's blocked by a significant portion of Mastodon. But he still claims, again in this tweet, that he built his own open source social network. No, if I can prove this, here is something called the Fediverse network. We go to fediverse.network and we see I've got it set up already. Instances by activity, most active in the last 7 days. A lot of these top networks are bots, so that's why you see irregular statuses or very consistent statuses with few users, right? And you can see the software that they're running. Mastodon Social is the flagship, and it's the instance ran by the developers of the core developers of the Mastodon system, and they're one of the most popular. I have to scroll way the fuck down here to see Gab, and Gab is running Mastodon 2.8.4, and I think the plus means plus Gab. It's their own modifications. They added something like groups or something because Andrew Torba pretends he's a beekeeper, even though all his fucking bees dies. So he has to have a group on Gab for beekeeping and Christianity that he leads. That's his contribution to the open source network. I also want to point out that Sinblur.com, a pornography exclusive Mastodon instance, is significantly more active than Gab itself is. And to our benefit, we can go to Gab Social specifically on Fediverse Network and see some data. Now, the graphs are really fucked up. And here's the funny thing. Graphs are really fucked up because there are specific times in this set where the numbers are negative to the tune of tens of thousands, where he's deleting tons and tons of users, tons and tons of statuses, and it really fucks up the visible network of graphs here. But I'll run you through it a little bit. Let's see. So this is, I want to say September 19th. This is in the last 182 days. Gab reported that it had 81 million statuses. And today, December 10th, it has 87 million. So it's, I don't know how long. I assume that the glory days of Gab are like far in the past where they were getting tons of statuses. Over here, you can actually see how many statuses I want to say. It has every few hours or so. And it's a couple thousand. How many active users it has over 1 million. Or it has 1 million registered, but in the time span that we're looking at here, they've only gained about 30,000 over, I guess, about half a year. And you can see how many active users it gains like every hour. It's getting like between 5 to 30, it looks like. So it's extremely slowed down. It's nowhere on par with an actual major social media network. It's slower than the real Mastodon that they forked. It's slower than the porn Mastodon. I like this. I can scroll down a little bit. Our Pleroma instance is really, and Pleroma, to clarify, is a compatible API compatible implementation of the Mastodon API. So Mastodon and Pleroma are completely different software bases, but they speak the same language. So it's kind of like how you can use QBitTorrent or uTorrent or LimeWire if you really want to, and they can all peer with each other when torrenting. That's how Mastodon and Pleroma kind of instance. The KiwiFarms.cc is below girlcock.club, but we're pretty high up there, I think. Let's see. There we go. We got about 1,000 users and about 100,000 statuses. Pretty good. Definitely not Gab, but Gab tier. I guess I can't talk down on him. But I can, because they crowdfunded over $1 million with over 1,000 investors. And that's really impressive. But the implication with that is, as it says right here, this is a regulation crowdfunding. This is not Patreon. This is not throwing a couple $1,000s at someone every so often and hoping for the best, right? This is a business which has a dedication to these 1,000 people to act in their interest. There's a specific legal term for his obligations, and I have it on hand somewhere. Hold up. Oppression of minority stockholders, or shareholder oppression. So if he does things that are not in the interest of his shareholders, they can sue him and they can complain to the SEC that he is not acting within their interest. Here is a filing with the SEC, because that $1 million is not the total of his crowdfunding. This was filed September 10th, 2018. This is a archived copy of the SEC.gov ICO initial offering for his Ethereum token. It's very boring, but what he was hoping for was 10 million. I think what they ended up with was about 2 million, a little bit over 2 million. The really interesting thing here is down below. I think it was on page 22. We launched into private invite-only beta in August 2016. As date hereof, we have 635,000 members. When was this? September, about 2018. So in the last year, they climbed from 635 to a little bit over 1 million. We are able to determine that users are unique via confirmed email addresses and unique IP addresses. However, there may be some users who switch IP at whatever. Where is... Oh, page 22. That's page 21. Revenue increased from $0 to $93,000. And operating expenses increased from $46,000 to $365,000 over their time. Uh, as a result of the foregoing, we recognized a net loss of $200,000 for the year ended December 31st, 2017, compared to net income of $11,000 from the period of inception to December 31st, 2016. I have reason to believe that Gab is hemorrhaging fucking money, and I want to know if this is going to end poorly for him in the form of an SEC complaint. And because that's what fucked over that one weird, what was his name? The weird guy that is always holding press conferences saying that he's got evidence that some Democrat is like having gay sex or something, and he always gets made fun of. I forget his name, but he got in trouble with something, with an organization exactly like this. And I think eventually someone's going to complain, especially when you look at how Tumblr's stock dove after they banned porn. So if you're a shareholder, you can say that this is an abuse of your trust. It's an abuse of you as a shareholder to make intentionally bad decisions because the guy who owns the company lost his fucking mind at some point. Jacob Wool, that's right. Not Kim.com. Most users of Gab are thick as fuck. Well, the investors may not be. But what I think is he is doing the same thing that Jim Watkins is. He's pulling the QAnon card. I think he wants a complacent community of old people who will love him unconditionally in the same way that the boomers support Jim Watkins and 8chan at this point, because the boomers on 8chan, they just go to QAnon research and they don't look at any other board, right? They don't see, or Christian, they don't see furry, they don't know anything about like the little girl boards or the Heba boards. They don't know anything about any of that. So, they stay in their bubble and they have pensions and they have retirement accounts and they have income and they are willing to spend it. They're also very loud and they write their congressman. So at some point, if there is any reason or logic to what Torba is doing, he has realized that it's very easy to impress old people with technology, and they are much more willing, much less critical of him, much more thankful for catering, because everyone hates boomers, right? And are much more willing to financially support him. So what he says is, look, Grandma, I made a browser that's going to block porn. Oh, good job, Andrew. Oh, look, Grandma, I made this open source software that's peer-to-peer, so the government can't take it down. Oh, well, that's very good, Andrew. And he was just going to keep milking this over and buy this t-shirt, Grandma, it's $60. Oh, okay, you've been a good boy this year, Andrew. And just constantly milk these fucking old people so that they can post their banned Facebook memes on his service. And he's just going to ride off into the sunset with $3 million. And I guess just try to even out the operating expenses with old people trusting him. Because I don't know. I don't know what else could be going through his mind. He's either extremely stupid, or he's just manipulative and doesn't care if he steals money from old people by lying to them. I could be either. Neither would surprise me. I really hope it's the former, though, because I fucking hate him, and I don't want him to get away with being such a skid mark. You know what I mean? I supported the project. I wanted it to be successful. I didn't want to have to say, oh, look, this guy stole. I didn't want to be like, oh, look, I told you so. I did tell everyone so. I told people many times that this guy is a grifter. But now it cannot be ignored because he's dared touch the sacred fifth pillar of our society, which is pornography. He can't ride away from this one. Even old people like porn, though. That's my big internal conflict. One part of me makes me want to believe that Aunt Kathy doesn't want to see pornography on her Twitter page. The other part of me makes me think that old people are horny as fuck and definitely want to see pornography on their Twitter page. So I can't decide which is which. So I am leaning towards not wanting to see. Because, with 8chan, there's no porn on the QAnon research board. It's just like text, right? People talking. But on Gab, you can't really avoid it. If people are posting porn and stuff, you're going to see it, even if on accident. But maybe the old people don't want the porn. That's my current theory. Oh, well. Was there something on 23? Oh, this was after the initial offering. This is okay, because again, this is the filing for the ICO. So this is not up to date with the new money they have. This is their filing for that crowdfunding platform. At the end of December 31st, 2017, we had $630,000 in liquid assets. So they've already lost a significant portion of that money, and I don't know when it ended. Gab ICO hits 4.7 million. Are you fucking kidding me? So it's like it's like closer to $6 million. This motherfucker has $6 million to fork GitHub repositories and pay Turkish people to make it green. Because in the ICO, he explains who his board of trustees is. And one is, I want to say, here, I'll find it, hold up. This isn't doxing, this is public record. It's Andrew Torba and Ekrem Bukaya is the Turkish guy. And Ustav Sandujan, which is from Canada, so God fucking knows where he's from. So, but I mean, really, that's the team. We got $6 million. I'm just going to pay Ekrem Bukaya to make shit green, and I'm going to sell it to grandma, and I'm going to fucking tend my homestead and kill bees. And that's going to be my life. That's fair. I'd do it. Fuck it. Can I launch a Kiwi Farms ICO and get $6 million to fuck off? I'd fuck off to Estonia. You guys can come visit my bee killing operation in Estonia. It'll be a tourist attraction. I'll write it off on my taxes. Something awful. Let me get a sip of water, actually. This is the ominous foray into this topic. This might be a long stream, by the way, because these two people are really fucking up, and it's really funny. Lowtax won't let us delete fuck you and die, but he does want to purge. Right now, the question isn't if, it's how and when. And Lowtax confirms this on his Facebook page. Of course, not on his own site. For some reason, these people don't use their own fucking websites. I don't know why. But this is Lowtax on Facebook. To all the internet recluses who have bitched and whined and complained over the decades that the evil transsexuals are taking over the Something Awful forums, good. All of them seem a billion times more rational than any of you. Now fuck off forever. Oh, no. So, if you have any problem with any of the things I'm about to show you, fuck off forever. That's the lesson to take home. In the last... It's more than that. I should really bring up this page. Hold up. Don't know why I didn't. This shows 34 people banned today, as in the last 24 hours. But if we actually go to the site, it's a lot more than that. There's tons and tons of temporary bans. The 24 bans are the permanent bans. And since, like... that's all one day. That's all the 11th. That's like 50 rows of bans and probations. Still the 11th. Finally, we get to the 10th. And it's another 50 rows of that shit. So 100 people banned or probated in one day. This is all on the 10th, so it's up to 150 people banned or probated in one day. Still the 10th, still the 9th. 200 people banned over the course of this. And the 8th, I think the 8th is when it started, so I'll include the 8th. 250, a little bit more than 250. 250 paying customers fucking voided from this site, for at least temporarily. Because what they decided to do was delete this forum, this area of Something Awful called Fuck You and Die, which is one of the oldest and most infamous parts of the board, because that is where the hell threads were at. And the hell threads were basically... kind of sort of the origin, the starting point of doxing, and are home to famous people such as Zoe Quinn, who very famously participated in the Fuck You and Die hell threads where they dox people in early internet days. So obviously, in the year 2019, our Lord, this is problematic, and we have to deal with this. So let's see how they deal with it. Very not well. This is Koala's March, one of at least 2 moderators who are either stepping down or have already stepped down. The other one is Facts Are Useless. And Facts Are Useless stepping down was a big deal because I remember in 2017 when the schmorky stuff happened, Facts Are Useless was the big guy who really helped Lowtax fight the forum off, making fun of them, and was a because we doxed a lot of their trannies at that time, and Facts Are Useless was helping people deal with it and shit. Very anti-forum, pro-social justice. So I really wanted to dox him, but we never did. We did find a picture of his dog, though, so we doxed him. That was the joke that we went with. It was sufficient. Because what the fuck? I mean, the difference between doxing and dogsing is nothing, because nothing happens either way. Okay, so this is how Facts Are Useless got banned, or banned himself. He went to Fuck You and Die, and he tried to rein in a thread by banning someone. And the result of him doing this were people reacting negatively to the fact that he wasn't doing enough. And that's the overarching theme of all this outrage, is that he keeps coming in and saying that we need to deal with the bigotry and the intolerance, and we need to do something. We need to come up with a solution together as a forum. But nobody wanted to hear that. So he's saying this Cascade Beta is like a psychopath. Yes, irony helped create the alt-right. Ironic bigotry helped gateway people into the hands of non-ironic bigots and help them realize that they were never actually speaking from a place of irony because it was reflecting deeply held beliefs that they were afraid to voice unironically. It's a real phenomenon. The whole thing is fucked and should not exist in 2019. So Facts Are Useless tries to defend himself by groveling. I'm sorry, I meant to make a more generally applicable point. Again, I haven't clicked it before today, and I've seen as offensive and shitty. I think the thread should be gassed, which is a fantastic statement because when they delete threads, they gas it, which is an allusion to like concentration camps. Really, really not reconciling the history of the board and its deeply held irony and the attempts to moderate it. Gassing the thread isn't good enough because it's just going to keep happening again and again and again, especially now that we're speaking up about it. It's a culture problem polluting the entire subforum. And he tries to ease the pain, to put some soothing cream on that rash. But Cascade Beta and the other trannies cannot be reconciled at this point. They are out for blood. They've been acknowledged, and now that they've been acknowledged, they are not going to stop until they get what they want. And what they want is for Fuck You and Die, or Fuck You and Die to be closed. The mod of Fuck You and Die is posting in the fucking anti-LGBT thread and encouraging it, FAU. That's the problem here. How many more times do we have to say it before people get their fucking heads out of their asses and listen? It's a culture problem, not a singular thread problem. This will not go away because of one fucking thread is deleted. And the outcome of this, the outcome of him not being able to placate these crazy people, is Facts Are Useless resigned as moderator and then posted a thread which in something awful automatically banned your account. And he said something like, I really shouldn't have been a mod here. This is it. I am really sorry to all the people who have hurt on these forums. It's clear to me at this point that I have nothing to contribute to something awful. I should have self-banned a long time ago so I can go work on myself. And then a very funny person bought him, you can buy people avatars that forces them to have that avatar, bought him a very exquisite picture of a penis that says women don't have penises as his avatar, which is actually really funny, and it's a shame that the people who do that kind of stuff are not considered funny anymore on this site. And that person's probably already banned. He's probably already banned in the purge of 250 people who are now gone. This guy actually joined from Something Awful, Mangosteen. He was probated for 6 hours. I think most of those people were only banned for about 6 hours. A lot of people who were banned were trannies who were offended and saying that the ban should have been for longer. And because they were complaining, they also got banned for 6 hours, which caused the survivors of this ban chain to huddle together and say that the mods are encouraging like terrorism for banning the downtrodden and oppressed vocal minority on the site. The Bango Skank came over to the forum to laugh with us at how funny things were. And of course, because he came over to the forum and laughed with us, at least someone named Bango Skank came over and registered this account to laugh about being banned. He was permanently banned for attempted off-site doxing, which he didn't do. This was his only post. I wonder how many of these people they purge over the next few days are actual leftists who just don't buy into idpol bullshit or refuse to take their posting orders from insane cross-dressers. But of course, we're all chuds or Trump voters in their mind. And he was proven right because he was permanently banned for apparently doxing. And then, not going to read all of this. The majority of his post was just that he's very disappointed that even though he is a leftist, he just doesn't buy into the whole identity politics thing. He gets banned because he posts where people say he can't post. KF is so insidious that all I did was make an account here. An unforeseen force compelled me to dox myself, I guess. Repentance screen capping, because this is all behind paywall, which helps hide the embarrassment that it is. Maybe fucking rolling the bulldozers, and then when those GBS, which is general bullshit, bigots have settled in, roll in some more bulldozers. This is advocating for closing 2 different boards because I guess their subcultures are toxic. What is the net benefit that anybody gains out of the continued existence of Fuck You and Die? What is the net benefit anyone gains out of the continued existence of Something Awful? Which is promoting a mentality of just joining very secret Discord channels to not be laughed at by other websites. The fact you conflate class traitors who disproportionately oppress, kidnap, and murder people of color, I guess, with people on an internet forum who want the rules respected reveals an incredible level of ignorance and unchecked privilege that needs to be addressed, preferably via an immediate probation or ban. Too long didn't read, shut the fuck up and get the fuck out. If you said that these posts were coming from something like Reset Era, you'd probably fool almost everybody. We really need to crack down on ableism. And this is talking about changing the forum, and because, everything in Something Awful has like a goofy title or a goofy subtitle. So they're saying we really need to crack down on ableism. Words like stupid, crazy, and weird are words that we shouldn't be throwing around anymore like it's nothing. We shouldn't be posting drunk threads or encouraging drinking when so many goons struggle with drugs or alcohol. Ageism, classism, ableism, there is no margin for error here. Oh, and of course, there's no girls on the internet, right? So on the profiles, it says claims to be female or claims to be male as like a joke. The profile page states people's gender as claims to be female. I think it would be nice if this forum didn't question my gender identity. That one's real. I think the first one, we need to crack down on references to drunk threads, is a joke, but that one's fucking not. That's real. Here's a post by a tranny. It's a pony. This is not like satire, by the way. This pony with the Ushanka and the communist symbol in the back. My little comrade, socialism is magic. It's 2019, and we know that irony posting is what gave us Gamergate, the alt-right, and the return for the real's actual fascism. How can anyone justify this? And this is also not a joke. I'm not fucking kidding you. This is rarity in real life. And they look exactly like how when you look at a fucking pony with an Ushanka named My Little Comrade, Socialism is Magic, making a post about how it's 2019. This is precisely what you fucking imagine in your head, I think. Yeah, just soaking in. Let me get another sip. Okay, this is another one where I can't tell if this is satire or not. This is by RoboShit. I've been doxxed by both sites, and there's a huge overlap. And this is in referring to Fayad and the Kiwi farms. I'm M to F, and some guy posted a pic of me, and then another pic of my WoW classic character, a female Tauren shaman. Guy said that I would only pass an Azeroth. The next day, I'm checking Kiwi Farms to see if they've gotten any new docs on me, and the pic is floating around there now. Fayad and Kiwi Farms are the two big bastions of hatred and bigotry towards non-gender or non-binary / gender punk people such as myself. And I'm literally going to lose sleep tonight wondering if pushing these people out of their containment zone is only going to unleash a new wave of violence against trans people. He continues. Someone asking what gender punk means. I'm the one that is gender punk. It's a new term. Basically, while I mainly consider myself M to F, I also believe that my gender / body needs to be augmented using computer parts. I am chipped with biodata, and I'm hopeful in the next couple of decades, as prosthetics get better, I can go ahead and get cybernetic implants, and also my arms and legs can be replaced like Adam Jensen. He continues. That's what I'm saying. Lowtax needs to code something to where we can see their browser history, and so we can out the Kiwi Farms posters and ban them. So Adam or Dina Jensen really wants to NSA the fuck out of your browser history to know if you post on the Kiwi Farm so you can get banned preemptively from something awful. Now, you might be wondering, how do these people have money? And do they give money to Lowtax? The answer is maybe. Lowtax currently makes an impressive $10,000 a month. For many years, Something Awful was struggling financially. Then he eventually just made a thread saying, please, God, just give me money on my Patreon. And people did, gave him lots of money. When he did that, his Patreon jumped by $15,000. And it's been steadily decreasing ever since. You can see the bump there where he had a little bit under $2,000 per month. Then he made that post, and overnight he had $15,000. Now, what he's wanted to do with that money is do much needed updates to the server, update the forum software, make improvements to give people giving you $15,000 a month some reason to continue giving you $15,000 a month, and he's completely failed to do that, which is why in the last 6 months it's dropped from 12,000 to 10,000, which really isn't that fast of a decline. I mean, especially for someone who does nothing. Literally, as his mods are purging the site of entire communities, he's on Facebook talking about, and this is going on while his wife and kid are still MIA, by the way, and he's going through a divorce. So, I guess that's some excuse to do fucking nothing. But to give you an idea of what kind of upgrades Something Awful could benefit from, this is Facts Are Useless. Now, I mentioned Facts Are Useless killed his account. In under 24 hours, he rejoined and has been groveling like a fucking infant for forgiveness ever since. So now he's no longer an admin like he used to be, but he's back on the site because he couldn't stand being away from his fucking hutbucks for even a full day, apparently. Kiwi Farms, this is a quote from Edgar Allan Poe. Kiwi Farms also thinks that radium code is just a conspiracy to blame things on, and it can't possibly be that bad. I don't know if that's a thing. I would believe that the forum is badly coded because it's so old, but perhaps other people disagree. Facts Are Useless says, they're insane. Sometimes people, oh yeah, we're insane. Fuck you. Sometimes people get it wrong, like saying that we can't delete or remove or rename forums, which happens all the time. But there are some real weird things that can't be changed. For instance, admins have a delete post button. They very explicitly can't use it because it breaks threads. Why is it there? Because somehow it's built into the core functionality so deep that touching it would cause some sort of major issue. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but I remember Zendeath Robot saying he once broke the forums entirely by changing a smiley tag or some really other minor shit. And Angerbeat, who I think is also a former admin because he joined in 2004, said, the admin panel is, let's just say there were certain user groups simply labeled do not touch ever, and I'm pretty sure no one knows what they do, but are clearly of vital importance to the system. And this is the person explaining that he literally re-registered after half an hour from his ban and was full of apologies and groveling ever since. So that's the story for him coming back. The reason why Lowtax apparently can't use any of that $15,000 a month to fix his site is that he apparently spent his entire 401k keeping the site open when it was unprofitable. So he's hoping to make his money back before he invests any of it back into the site, which I guess is a fair excuse, but maybe put a little bit back into the site. Like if you get $15,000 a month, maybe put $10,000 of that towards the site, and put $5,000 back into your retirement account, so that people get their money's worth for donating to you. I think I even offered to him that I would create an importer to import something awful into Zen 402 for $10,000, and he completely ignored my offer. Or he entertained it until people told him not to do any business with the Kiwi farms ever. So no, I guess he's just keeping all that money to drink himself to death with, which I guess would be the most pleasant possible outcome for Lowtax at this point. Let me play something that somebody found. It's only a couple of minutes long, but it's worth it.
The internet.
This is Lowtax speaking, by the way. This is from 2005.
It's just kind of like a weird sociological experiment because, you've got people who were previously sitting in their basement reading fantasy novels all day and all night and then some. And, they've got some weird kind of fetish, or they think that, the people who make traffic signals are out to kill them, or wind is made by tigers or something like that. And they just sit there by themselves because they think they're the only ones who think that, and obviously they can't go out in public and start screaming at the wristwatch because, they get arrested or something. But what the internet does is it actually gets these people together. Before the internet, these people were just by themselves. Then they get on the internet, they do a search, and they find people that are exactly like them. And then soon, just one person goes into two. 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 16, 16. I can't go past 16, I'm sorry. I failed out of college. And so it just keeps on going on and on like that. And once a group kind of hits a certain number, then these people think that they're in the majority. And they start beginning to think that, oh, well, if you think that I'm wrong, I've got all these people here telling me that if you look at the color white, you get cancer. So obviously we're right. And obviously you're a bigot. And I get that all the time because you can't poke fun at anybody without being called, racially insensitive, even though, people who think that, hats are trying to kill them, that's not a race. Okay.
What an insightful seminar. He should have, when he's committed to an insane asylum, he should have this put on repeat in his cell for the rest of his life until he chokes on his own vomit after a binge. I think that's it. It's ongoing. There's lots of drama. It's hard to get because you have to have an account, and I'm not giving them any more fucking money. Here's how much Lowtax can go fuck himself, right? I'm going to show you something. Where the fuck is this link? I didn't want to show you this at first because it just makes me look like an idiot. Because I got ripped off. But there's an ad list, right? There's a banner rotation on Something Awful for like 20, $30. You put your own banner on it and it lasts for an entire month. What a deal. So I made a very, very good banner to try and to swing some people try to swing some traffic my way. And I think that Lowtax has banned the kiwifarms.net domain from his banner rotation. Like if you try to put a kiwifarms.net URL into the banner, it just drops it automatically, right? But it still charged me. So this motherfucker is going to force me to call up my fucking bank and file a fraud complaint because this asshole took 30 of my hard-earned US dollars and just stole it and did not put my fantastic banner advertisement on for even a second. Like the last time he didn't, he like took it down after like a couple days. And I was thinking about filing like a fraud complaint, but like I guess it went up a little bit. So I guess that was my money's worth. This time it didn't go up at all. So there's no way I can mentally justify this. This motherfucker stole my 30 US dollars. And I am going to get my 30 US fucking dollars paid in full. Not partially, not a little bit back, not after transaction fees. No, I am going to have Lowtax. Richard Kayanka is going to send Joshua Moon $30. And I will continue to update you every week on my quest to get my fucking money back from this asshole who did not put up my banner advertisement because it was a very good banner and I worked very hard on it and it deserves to go on the banner rotation. So that's that. This stream will actually be a little bit longer because someone decided to say, "You streaming soon? You could go on forever this week with YouTube Gab, plenty of content. I realize it's going to be tough not to be able to talk about that food chick you crush on, though. Hope that doesn't make you quit." Well, my friend, I have some fantastic news for you. I can just stream a little bit longer, and I can talk about my fat chick, and you can go fuck yourself. Chantal is currently on the stage 1 of the cycle. She's back on the weight loss attempt. She's had an awakening. She claims that she has had a awakening from the bullying. See, people called her out on photoshopping her picture. I mean, really, if you read her comment, these two pictures aren't too different. Sure, she may look about 300 pounds lighter in the right one. Sure, even the left one may be photoshopped a little bit, but all is fair in love and war, right? Oh yeah. God, I should pull up her video library and just show you. Sorry, I spent 6 hours compiling notes for the stream, right? And even then, I have not been able to compile all the notes I wish I could because it's just so much shit. Especially with her, she is manic as fuck this week because she had that total hysterectomy, and I think she's hitting menopause early. She's having hormonal issues, and she's losing her fucking mind. Oh, wow. When I type in Foodie Beauty on YouTube, I don't know if this is just tailored specifically to me, and YouTube knows too much about me, but it's Foodie Booty followed by Foodie Beauty Fart, which is fantastic. I really appreciate that. She posted this video where she farts in like the first minute. Here, I'll play it. Everyone wants that. Here, this part right here. My commentary is going to be disjointed because I don't have my notes.
I'm like, I need to eat something. So I thought I would just do a video for you guys because I'm eating my cheat day.
I just appreciate the fact that she has no restraint. She just like, you wouldn't do that in front of anyone. Hopefully not. You would never just like grunt and fart like a toddler taking a shit. in front of any company, but for some reason she feels that's fine. And then instead of like editing it out or something, she like puts in the title, fart warning, lobster mac and cheese mukbang at the crack of dawn. There's more to that video, but I'll get back to it in a second. I know you want to hear more of it. She had an epiphany that she was going to lose weight. She was going to start lifting weights. And indeed, she vaguely committed to it for a second. Just take a look at that gunt. That is a proper gunt sitting meatily between her thighs as she attempts to lift 3-pound weights. Had to mute. Sorry. She's having one more. Oh, these are all before her surgery, by the way. This is supposed to be a GIF, but it's not animating. I wish I could see the wobble. The Burger King one is here. So this is where we're at in this timeline. She had the pulled pork thing, I think. Unless she's eaten. Oh, she was okay. After her surgery, she committed to getting gastric bypass, right? She said she was going to go to a bariatric doctor. She was going to get a gastric bypass. She was going to get on a diet, and she was going to diet. She was going to diet properly and lose weight, right? So her last cheat day was going to be this Burger King BBQ pulled pork. This was apparently the thumbnail that it had before she changed it. I really appreciate. She looks like a fish. Her eyes are bulging with, like, out of her skull with the fantastic jubilation of one more bite. She had this as her intro. Oh God, what's this? Oh, she started up a vlog channel. She was going to talk about her life and stuff. That's what this was for. This is going to be the intro. I really like this title card. Okay, so welcome. And then she's going to be talking about beauty. So this is the face of beauty. Follow that up a little bit. This is the face of health, sitting here in her fucking hospital gurney. Food. I don't know what the fuck that is. No comment. Adventure exploring. Her sitting around. Friends, people who don't want to be recorded. BB very reluctantly pecking her. I think that's actually sped up because look at that. Go back home, BB. Your family misses you. Beauty again. Cats. Her swinging. And then Pete's looking like a I'm not going to say what he looks like because that would be defamatory to his person. I'm sure he's a nice guy. But he's looking a bit like a Chester in a park, preying on some children, riding a purple dinosaur, smiling down. That high contrast is not helping him whatsoever. He looks like he just saw a child crawling to him and is about to jump off that dinosaur and devour it because he's not just a Chester, he's like a vampire Chester. And then this super, super fucking creepy outro, which is like like she's a human being with a camera, presumably, that can do a blinking animation. But instead of doing that, she's going to Photoshop herself to look like she's 200 pounds and then edit it to look like a blink because I guess she can't edit the video to make it look like she's 200 pounds. So she just like does a faux blink thing, which is incredibly unsettling. And that was her vlog channel, and she was going to talk about boring, mundane shit. Here's a fan edit, by the way, from the Kiwi forum. Beauty, much better representation. Health, I appreciate that they didn't change the health at all, because that's fucking perfect. Food, her eating her Burger King or McDonald's or whatever the fuck before her surgery to have her womb removed. Adventure and exploring the mammoth cheese of Canada. Oh, and when she briefly became a dumpster diver for some fucking reason. Friends is instead replaced with food, which is also more important. Love. It goes by repeat of that. Cats. Pete's just zoomed in the same fucking shot because it's creepy as shit. And then keeping this creepy ass fucking outro. It's perfect. Okay. So she announces some changes. She's had epiphanies and needs to adjust her life. Today is a new day, and I feel mentally strong and set on making my health the biggest priority of my life. As soon as the office opens Monday, I will make an appointment for psychotherapy. I have decided to make my private videos, weight loss stuff, and lots of various vlogs public again for you guys to watch if you so desire to do so. See you soon. Now again, this is like after months of claiming she's not like a weight loss channel, and if you're expecting her to lose weight and go fuck yourself. And while this is happening, her tick of going shh is getting really fucking weird. For some reason, when she eats food, she goes shh. I said shh, and you know what? Just do it. Just do your thing.
And I say, no, I say, I do my food bucket list.
Because I think what happens is when she eats the food, she has a cool moment, and the neurons of her brain start firing, cooming, like misfiring, like all the neurons, like they're all tangled up, and she just starts making absolute fucking nonsense sounds. Again, even she promises more dieting, saying, "Hey guys, today's a new day, and I still feel mentally strong and set on making." Wait, I just read this. She posted the healthy mukbang that we see here, the mussels and spicy broth and seafood mukbang. And then 5 a.m. the next day, so literally, like, she must be up all fucking night, and then decides to have this lobster mac and cheese. And it's a lot of food. Like, I watched this video, and it's just like, it's like several pounds of just carbs and cheese and lobster bits. And that was supposed to be her cheat day, like after 24 hours. And the really interesting thing about the lobster mac and cheese is this, like, okay, it's 20 fucking minutes long, very long video. She's just pounding back all that fucking food. Then something weird happens, where I'm trying to look for it. I think it's this moment right here.
So then we went to his garage, and there was crates of dip sauce.
You can hear BB in the back, which makes me think there's I think it's towards the end. BB wakes up, and she says something like, "Aren't you tired?" And I think this is really early in the morning, so she like is awake all night, eats this tub of macaroni, and then BB gets up for his job. So just imagine being BB. You could be at home in Ghana right now, eating delicious peanut food, but instead you're waking up to go be a security officer, and your wife is in the other room, or sorry, not her wife, or not his wife, never will be, is just pounding back all this mac and cheese after organs are removed from her body. And there's a marked change, like you can see in the thumbs a little bit, that she's very happy, eating, talking, whatever, and then BB wakes up and she's less happy, and then towards this bit right here.
Ready or not?
I'm waiting.
Well,
I just remember, I can't have the exact timestamp, but he starts like banging shit around in the kitchen, and you can see her eyes for all this time are darted off to the side looking at him, and I think he's like visibly pissed off that she committed to this diet again, and then he wakes up to this shit, and she's debasing herself in this room. So she very hurriedly cuts the video off. After non-stop eating, it's around this time she leaves the little bit left on the plate that she easily could have packed away, but I think the BB being awake was threatening to her. The illusion broke. It's like when I'm a crazy person and I'm talking to myself. If I ever acknowledge the fact that I'm talking to myself, it stops. I can't do it anymore. It's too weird. And I think when she realizes that someone is watching her eat and talk to herself on that camera, she can't do it anymore, and she has to end it. Because she's like a secret eater and shit. Someone says, it's good that you're trying to lose weight. The criticism is the accountability that you need to correct the behavior. Your audience keeps you accountable. The backlash is a useful weight loss tool. No, the backlash is not a good accountability tool. It is the opposite. I don't want to lose weight. You don't want to lose weight, says Sleepyberry. Then why are you talking about weight loss surgery before? No hate, just confused. And very quickly the tone changes. I'm a diet failure. So how about a Taco Bell mukbang tomorrow and I talk about the different weird diets I've been on so far. I won't rip ass. Oh, God. I promise. Comment below your favorite Taco Bell items. She amends her... Wait, I missed the post. Oh, in that video, as I go on about BB, I asked... She leaves a comment just up for the people concerned about BB. She asked him for a statement. And this is apparently BB's statement. For those concerned about poor BB not having breakfast, I did make him a breakfast sandwich on his favorite bread to bring to work. How do you know what I do off camera? You don't. Point proven. Very well said, BB. Number 2, I asked BB what he thought about waking up to the sound of my fart at the crack of dawn. Wow. Only to wander into the hallway to see his beloved eating tray of lobster mac and cheese. And he said this. He is used to it. That's depressing. That's not very comforting. And number 3, don't act like you don't fart around your boyfriend. Most women, I think, try to exercise restraint because they want to be sexy for their boyfriend. Usually, they don't want to be like a brat hog pig, but to each their own. This is a community post. Just so some of you don't waste your time, I'm adding this disclaimer to my video description section. This is not a weight loss channel. So all this shit we just went through about how we're going to get the gastric bypass, we're going to lose weight. This is not a weight loss channel. If you're triggered by a fat girl eating, you may want to exit left. Fat people have the right to exist on a social media platform without it always being about their weight. So immediately 180 again. And this is all this is within the last 2 weeks. So they're flip-flopping back and fucking forth like one of those, I don't know. They're just completely manic and insane. They completely, if we go to their channel right now and go to their community page, there is 2 posts, and that's because at this point they deleted all of the community posts because they had been making promises and reneging on them within hours about wanting to lose weight. I like this part. It's a perfect visual, and I know people, including other YouTubers, have noticed this because people are making fun of her for being a fucking lunatic. Someone very, very, made a meme out of Chantal. Oh shit, here we go again. She could not walk like that, though. That man has a confident stride. Maybe if you put BB and Chantal into the teleporter from The Fly, and they came out the end mixed together, that's what they would look like. I think that's it. I think this video sums it up perfectly. What the fuck? Access denied. Fuck you, access denied. Motherfucker. Oh well. That's the Chantal update. She has decided to lose weight and not lose weight within the span of 48 hours. She's deleted all her comments, and I think it's just her dealing with hormonal imbalances due to the fact that she's mutilated her body. She apparently thinks that mutilating her body further with gastric bypass will be the solution to all her problems with it, considering the fact that she can't manage to stick to any commitment for more than a day. Kind of indicates that the legendary Chantal cycle will continue forever and ever. And no matter what Bees Nichio says on the Twitter, I will always have room to talk about Chantal. And I think with that, we've been going for an hour and a half. Now would be a good time to wrap it up. I have a very special song picked out. Thank you to everyone on the new project too for your support. I will 100% be streaming at this time every day for the next 5 days because of Life is Strange 2. And I will get that out of the way before it gets too close to Christmas, and we'll just wrap that up. And I'll consider what I'm going to do to make up for not streaming on Christmas Day. Sorry to everyone who doesn't have any plans for Christmas, but I do. Not to be an asshole. Where's my song at? Here's my song. Okay. See you guys next week. Oh, wait. That's the wrong player. It needs to be NPC player. There we go.
I used to use my brain before. My prefrontal cortex been thrown out the door. 'Cause every day I need to keep cool, man. The first, the second, the third, the fifth, I'm falling apart, no stopping this. I just can't control it. I'm a cool man. I'm a cool man. I'm a cool man. I'm a cool man. I'm a cool. I used to be a happy boy, filled with dopamine and joy, but now I'm just a crusty, dirty cool man. I haven't cleaned my room in weeks. All I do is beat my meat. I get nothing done 'cause I'm a cool man. 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 I used to get things done, now popping off is the only one. Even when it's flaccid, 'cause I'm a cool man.